Hey, everybody. It is Fantasy NBA today with Rick Kamla and yours truly, Dr. A, Steve Alexander. We are going to break down the one game that happened tonight in the NBA. We're going to take a look ahead at tomorrow. We're going to answer a bunch of questions, hopefully, from y'all. And we're going to do that right after I tell you about, after I say hello to our sponsor, BetOnline. BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college hoops, NHL, and even UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Rick Kamla, my man, what's up?
I love hearing you get your Mike Breen on, dude. You go, Doc. You go. Hey, man, I'm happy to be back on the air with you talking fantasy basketball. Weird schedule this week, Doc. Yahoo leagues where they're splitting up, they got a 2-week week here, but they give you only 4 waiver spots. Doc, that's like... That's a pool full of razor blades for me, dude. Go ahead and jump in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the waiver wire guy, man. I can't operate like this, dude. So like mid last week, I'm up to 3 moves, right? 3 out of 4, and I wanted to make moves, Doc, but I couldn't. Jaime Jaquez grew stale on my team. Remember, we rolled the dice on him. I had to hold Jaime Jaquez for like 4 days. Because of that rule, dude. So everybody try to make it work in these Yahoo leagues. And I'm now maxed out in most of these leagues, Doc. But Yahoo's got, if they're going to add a week, they got to add a roster moves.
Well, they've always done that for the All-Star week too, where they only give you 4 moves for a 2-week period. And I've never really understood that, but it is what it is. Same for everybody, I guess. But the problem is there's so few games this week that even trying to go out and find somebody to pick up, it's like, well, everybody else is in the same boat I'm in. There's really
Doc,
not.
I thought Kelly O was a nice little pickup for tonight, didn't you? Were you looking at Kelly O going into tonight?
I should have been, but I was under the weather today, so I didn't really get my basketball on until right about 7 o'clock.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I saw Grady Dick was available in a lot of leagues too, and I scooped him up in some leagues. Grady is not having a game though, as we talk live right now. He is not shot well.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more about Kelly Olynyk in about 10 minutes. Let's do some reader questions first. Ron Mexico. there's a throwback. Ron Mexico 7 says Jokic or Wemby and JJJ and McCain. Rick, can you see that question and can you interpret it for me?
I can. Is he saying which side of a trade should I be on? Jokic or Wemby, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jared McCain? Doc, would you think that there would be any fantasy manager at any point of this globe who would give up Wemby, JJJ, and McCain for Nikola Jokic? Because Andre is saying that is the question.
I think they all would.
We love Jokic. These stat lines are like super fat, okay? But damn, dude.
I mean, Wemby and JJJ's, they're both first-round values.
And McCain's our guy. Yeah, that's all. I mean, I hope he didn't trade those guys to get Nikola Jokic, because both me and Doc, Ron Mexico 7, are telling you we would rather have the Wemby, JJJ, and McCain side. And I don't want to sound, arrogant or whatever. I just don't think it's debatable, Doc. Like, this one's not even close.
No, if you're asking me, should I trade Jokic for Wemby? There's an argument there that exactly. No, you don't want to do that. But if they're going to throw in Triple J, and even Jared McCain, then it becomes absurd and you have to do it. Next question from MC Fizz. Alpi Şengün or Scotty Barnes? 9-cat head-to-head rest of season. I think it's a little easier to answer now than it was about 45 minutes ago, Rick. Scotty Barnes went down. The injury didn't look that horrible to me. Like, he sprained his right ankle, but his reaction to it and the pain he was in while he was down before he literally hopped on one foot to the locker room made me very uneasy that this feels like a serious injury to me based solely on how he reacted to it.
I like the observation, Doc. I'm not disagreeing. I just want to say this. Like, how many times have we seen an NBA player writhing in pain, like somebody dropped a car on them and they go to timeout and they come back and the guy's coming out of the huddle and he's on the court and ready to play? Like, these guys overreact to stuff, and maybe I would too. I don't know. I'm trying to find a silver lining here, Doc. I'm trying to, be optimistic about this because you're probably right. It's probably a month or something like that. But I don't know. Like, I'm not calling them crybabies or whatever, but I just see a lot of guys like, oh my God. Remember Paul Pierce in the finals against the Lakers, right? The knee injury. Oh my God, Paul Pierce just blew a tire in game one. He came back and gave him buckets and was the hero in that game. And the whole wheelchair thing, right? So I'm not freaking out yet. But you're right. It is sort of haunting when you see a guy in that much pain. And I'm not saying, regardless of this take, that he'll be back tomorrow or next week. Doc, I'm feeling like what I saw tonight. It's about a 2 to 4 week injury. Hopefully it's more on the 2 week side. But here we go again with Scotty Barnes, Doc. Hurt all, not all last year, but a good chunk of last year. Hurt for a chunk earlier this year. And now he's going to miss another chunk. Dude, that's a lot of chunks.
Well, and he's so good. He's such a baller. And, we don't know if he's hurt. I mean, he could easily not miss any games. Really, I mean, he could have a cramp in his foot. We don't know. But I just didn't like the way he reacted to it. Anyway.
Yeah, my answer is Şengün here, Doc. And it would have been Şengün even without the injury news because I fear a Scotty Barnes shutdown because Toronto's going to be in tank mode. Give me Şengün, baby. And Şengün's a stud. Going to be playing important games all the way to tax day. So I would have said Şengün anyway. Were
you high on Şengün coming in?
I was. I definitely was. I don't have a lot of shares of his, but Doc, sometimes you're high on a guy and it just does, the drafts just don't fall that way, right? Or maybe I'm taking the Donovan Mitchell when guys were taking Alpi Şengün. It's like I don't have a lot of shares of him, but it's not indicative at all of how high I was on Şengün coming in. Because, Doc, I saw even an uptick over last year's numbers just because of how young he is and he's still on the rise. You know what I mean?
I made a rookie mistake this year, and I let Brewski get in my head about Şengün over the summer. And he actually got me to change my opinion of Şengün. I'm like, yeah, he's right. He doesn't steal. He doesn't block. Why do I love this guy so much? And so I kind of faded him a little bit. And that's my bad. Shouldn't listen to the man. Should have been intimidated by his greatness.
Your boy Brew and his persuasive ways, right?
Rain wants to know Marcus Smart or Cole Anthony. For me, it's Marcus Smart because of Jalen Suggs.
I agree. I mean, I don't like either of them right now. And I we'll probably get into this more when we get into the Orlando and Milwaukee look ahead. But, I'm a Cole Anthony guy. I like him. I think he's a cool dude. He's the son of Greg, who I worked with for a long time. But I met Cole at the Magic facility on a shoot for NBA radio. He's got one of the best personalities in the league, and he's a baller, and he's tough, and he's a game. And so I like him. And it was last week or something. I said, they got to trade him to like the Knicks or something because he was buried out of the rotation. But now he's back in the rotation. And with the news on Franz Wagner that he's going to miss all this time with the oblique, that's going to mean more from him, and it's going to get him back into good graces. So, but all that said, like, he'll probably still be a bench guy. playing 26 to 20, I don't know, around there. One night he'll have 5, the next night he'll have 17. And so it'll be the Cole Anthony experience, which is why he went to the bench in the first place. But Marcus Smart, Doc, I just got a soft spot in my heart. And it's not the dog in Marcus Smart, which I love. He's a 3-ball steal machine when he gets the minutes. And he's super inefficient. And right now he's in a bench role, and Memphis is not using him the way that I thought they were going to use him. But dang it, I'm not giving up on Marcus Smart yet. I probably will admit to being wrong about that, but I have not given up on him yet, Doc.
Maximizer 420 wants to know, is Isaiah Hartenstein for Lauri Markkanen a bad trade? I have a punt, field goal turnover around Harden and Mitchell, but also strong in rebounds with Vooch and Johnson. Lauri would fit better. I can't be competitive in steals, and field goal is bad anyway. Could use Lauri's threes. He's really trying to sell us on Lauri Markkanen over Hartenstein. Rick, I have a feeling your answer is Hartenstein. I have a feeling my answer is Hartenstein. It's not really because we don't like how Lauri plays. We like the fact he doesn't play after the All-Star break.
I mean, you just said it, and I'll take it a little bit further. I agree with everything the doc just said. I'm just a no on Nets. I'm just a no on Jazz. I'm just a no on these teams because of the shutdown. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to take this guy on and then, all right, now I have to trade him again. We all have a lot going on in our lives outside of the fantasy space. And I do make trades, but to me, that's just creating headache, and it's creating a layer of work for yourself that you don't have to. And Doc, check out these numbers for Isaiah Hartenstein over the last 5 games. Can't wait to watch OKC and Dallas tomorrow, by the way. Last game, 12 and 12, 5 assists, 1 steal. Before that, 2, 16, 6, 1 and 1. Before that, 4, we know he's not a huge scorer, right? 4, 5 and 6 with 1 block and 2 steals, kind of a light line. The game before that, 5, 13 and 4, 1 and 1. The game before that, 11, 18 and 5, 1 and 1. The guy's a goody machine right now, Doc. He's getting big, decent minutes. I thought the minute 37, 30, 22, 28, 29 are his minutes in those 5 games. So those are pretty healthy numbers, Doc. 3 of the 5 games, the minutes were in the 20s. We know that Chet Holmgren's going to miss a ton of time this year. So Hartenstein is now where he was last year with the New York Knicks at the height of the Linsanity, whatever that was for Hartenstein, but that Linsanity pop that he made that had everybody screaming about him. These were the stat lines that he was putting up. This is why he's getting paid $29 million a year this year, Doc, is fat ass stat lines like this. So, yeah, I'd rather have Hartenstein. It's a different dude, right? It's not that he's like a completely different guy than Lowry. And I don't care about categorical fit. I just care about, I need a goody guy that I can rely on from now until the end of the season.
Well said. Well said. Harden, sort of, 13, says 8-cat roto. Would you drop Jabari, Sohan, or Goga for Julian Champagnie, Robert Williams, Bogey, or Alex Caruso?
No. I'm just going to say it like this, Doc. I don't want to drop Jabari. I don't want to drop Sohan, and I don't want to drop Goga. Goga comes off at 21 and 16. It's probably the best game he's ever had. I don't want to drop those guys. Let me look at your guy Bogey Bogdanovic. Let me take another look at him. He's the only guy that I might do it for.
I'm not dropping any of them for Robert Williams or Caruso to begin with. I might consider it for Bogey. I might consider it for Champagnie. Maybe I cut Jabari Smith to pick up Champagnie.
Okay.
Maybe I cut him to pick up Bogey.
So, Doc, here's how I'll do that. Doc, was it hard for you to find centers in the draft? Did you find center scarcity to be a thing this year?
No.
Me either. Okay. So, in Harden 13, you probably have not encountered center scarcity because there really isn't any. Okay. If anything, there's power forward scarcity. That is the sort of catcher of fantasy basketball, is power forward. You're going to point guards grow on trees, man. Power forwards don't. That's why I'm huge. I've got 1,000,000 shares of like Paulo Banchero, and yes, he got hurt, but that's why. I'm going to send Goga back to waivers, Doc, and I'm going to go pick up Bogey Bogdanovic. You know I'm a bogey guy, and he's bogey, okay? Because he was hurt, and now he's clicking and sticking. His point flow's gone 17, 10, 8, 15, 20. The three balls have gone 3, 2, 1, 3, 4. He had a 5-steal game recently. He has 8 steals in his last 5 games. And, the rebounds and the assists are always going to be right around 3 and 3. So he's going to give you like 17, 3 and 3 with a good steal number, like 1.3 steals. And he's going to be over 3 balls per game. Had a big, I shouldn't say big, just had like my usual strong Bogey Bogdanovic opinion coming into the season. And I still maintain that. I think the guy's a stud. And the Hawks are a very fun team. He's doing all of that work, Doc, in between 24 and 29 minutes. All right. And that's a pretty damn good stat line when your minutes are in the 20s. But I got to think for Bogey. So I'm dropping Goga for Bogey. I am going to do that.
Wow. Okay. I think it's close on the two guys I said, but I don't know that we're going to know who wins. I think I would probably look at the schedule and see who plays the most games in like the next 3 weeks out of those guys. And
hey, let me ask you a question real quick. Have you seen what Justin Champagnie is doing? In Washington, dude, he's balling. The Champagnie twins can both ball, dude.
Is he becoming a thing? Do I need to like start watching Washington?
I believe he is becoming a thing, Doc. I picked him up in 30 deep. I'm actually starting him this week because I did take Keldon Johnson out because he picked up that calf injury. Let me give you Justin's numbers here. And guys, this is a nerdy industry veteran conversation that hopefully you can make some money on as well. If you're in a 20-team league, a 16-team league, a 14-team league, maybe not even a 14-team league, then this is sort of tailor-made for you. But even those people in 14 or 12-team leagues, Doc, I think need to put Justin on the radar. If you're in 16 or above, you got to go get him now. Okay, that's how well he's playing. Over the last 2 games, this is not Julian of the Spurs. This is Justin of the Wizards, okay? Last game, 2 threes, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 steals. The game before that, 2 threes, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks. The game before that is when Brian Keefe put him in there. It wasn't a great line, but 1 3, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. But he's been 37 and 34 minutes the last 2 games, Doc. So it's contingent on injuries and who's in and who's out. But if you're in a deep league right now, Justin Champagnie is a must-add, in my opinion.
Well, and the cool thing about it is, guess who's not getting shut down when the Wizards shut it down? That guy. That guy's going to be the beneficiary of the shutdowns.
Dude, you know what? He's going to be your boy Delano Banton, 2025. You know what I'm saying? He's like he's going to go Delano Banton on it, man.
Hey, are you enjoying the show? If so, give us a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a 5-star review. Rick and I like this job. We'd like to keep it. We need you to do stuff like that to make sure that happens. No request 20 wants to know, what are we doing with Malik Beasley? He's too good to drop, but nobody wants to trade for him.
Yeah. Go if you want to go first, Doc. Go first.
Well, there's just no goodies there. He shoots threes and he scores some points, and that's about it. And he's not really all that trustworthy.
Yeah, I get it. I agree with everything you're saying. He has been damn good. I got to give Malik credit. He's at 16 points a game, making 3.7 3 balls a game. Like we joke all the time, like the Tim Hardaway Jr., at least early in the year, like 13 points and like 2.5 threes, or 13 points and 3 threes and nothing else. All right. Like Malik Beasley used to be level with that. He's north of that right now. Doc, look, to no request 20, it's tough to cut 16 PPG and almost 4 threes per game. That's difference making, especially if you need those threes. Like if you're maybe, you got a couple of forwards that are bangers and don't really hit threes, right? And maybe you're a little three deficient, then that makes having a 4 3-ball per game guy that much more important. But Doc, it's Vapor City everywhere else, right? And here's the thing. Malik Beasley's a waiver wire guy. Doc. Nobody's trading for Malik Beasley. So just make the decision. Either he has enough value for me to hold him through off nights or send him back to waivers, because there's Doc, will there be a feeding frenzy in a 10 or 12 team league if Malik Beasley is sent to waivers? Is that going to create a feeding frenzy?
In a 10-team league, it is not. In a 12-team league, I don't know. But generally speaking, feeding frenzy is not the word I would use when Malik Beasley hits the wire.
I love it, man. I love
it. Filibuster, spelled like the Phillies, kind of. Wants to know Alex Caruso or Dalton Connect. Actually, that's a pretty interesting question. I'm not even sure what the right answer is. I'm going to say my guy Dalton Connect, just because I still have faith in that kid, and I'm kind of giving up on Caruso and OKC.
I'm going to go, Doc, with golly, this is tough. This is tough, Doc, because like long haul, Caruso's balling, Doc, the last couple of games. He's come back from injury, and Caruso has looked like Caruso. The steals are there, scoring around 10 a game. Like he looks like the guy on the court and in the box score that we saw last year with Chicago. Okay. There's more upside with Dalton Connect, though. I'm with you, Doc. This is a really good question. This is a coin flip for me because I'm a Caruso guy. But give me Dalton Connect.
I try to be a Caruso guy. I was last year, but I can't get with it this year right now anyway. So got a couple more here. Let's maybe go rapid fire on these, Rick, so we can get to the recap and talk about our guy Scotty's foot injury. AC Milan superfan, should I drop Tari Eason for TJ McConnell in a 9-cap roto? Rick, would you like to answer that?
I don't like that move right now. I would rather have Tari Eason. The problem with TJ McConnell, Doc, and I know the numbers are fantastic. He never hits 3 balls. Like, he's a very weird player that way. Really good steal guy, good in the points and the assist categories, and right now he's flourishing there. But I like the goodies that Tari Eason's been given, man. The blocks, the steals, the 3 balls, and I don't trust TJ to be this dude all year. I'd say Tari Eason.
Yeah, TJ's weird because he's like this stereotypical short shooter where you just feel like he knocks down 3 threes a game, but he doesn't. It's kind of bizarre. But I'm going to go with Tari Eason as well, just because I think McConnell's hotter right now and a little more trustworthy right now. But Eason's got that just stupid, crazy upside. So I'm going with Eason. Parker Finley says, hope you guys have enjoyed watching RJ and my raps. Who has been your biggest fantasy surprise this year? I looked up Dyson Daniels ADP, and it's at like 200. No one was drafting Dyson Daniels, and if they were, he was an afterthought at the end of your draft. And now he gets 3.5 steals every single game. He has 3 steals like every time I look at a box score. He's got 15 points. He's got 5 boards. He's got 4 assists. He's just killing, man. And he's part of the reason the Hawks are so fun and that they're kind of good again.
I like that call, Doc. So I will not take that one. That would be my overall surprise of the year in fantasy basketball. But Doc, the answer that I want to give you is where's my guy? Is Franz Wagner. Doc, obviously, Paulo Banchero's injury has a lot to do with this, but it is what it is. Doc, Franz Wagner is 10th right now on Basketball Monster. 10th. 24, 6 and 6. This is a Kobe Bryant line. He's at 1.7 steals and 2 threes per game. 46% from the field, 88 from the line. Doc, Franz Wagner has never, ever, ever come close to approaching those goodies, especially in the steals and the threes. He's not a steal guy. He has not been a 3 guy. I bet he was at 1.2 threes last year or something like that, like low dough, right? And he's at 2. We'd like it to be higher, but 2 threes is okay, right? Like that's sort of the floor that I'm looking for in that category. But he's been phenomenal. And like I said, 10th in fantasy basketball. No way. That's a huge, huge surprise for me.
Rick, I know we're busy guys on the weekends. Have you heard the latest Franz Wagner injury diagnosis?
Yeah, the oblique.
Yeah. I saw that today. It was like torn oblique. I was like, no, why did this happen? And it's the exact same injury that Paulo Banchero had. Crazy.
Doc?
Same team.
Doc?
What?
Do you think that the bosses of the Orlando Magic are having a conversation with their trainer right now? I'm just asking.
I'm guessing somebody is getting yelled at.
I mean, what's up? Like the same position, different body type, but the same position. I mean, obviously I'm burying the lead here. Most importantly, it's the same freaking injury. And Doc, name me another player in the NBA over the last 5 years that you can even think of an oblique injury happening. Give me one.
It's not a basketball injury. It's a baseball injury.
I can't remember one oblique injury, Doc. And I can't remember any, okay? I just put it at 5 years. My point is, I'm not trying to get anybody canned around here. We're talking basketball. Like, this is a joke, dude. Like, dudes turn ankles in basketball. Doc, you played a bunch of pickup basketball. You've turned your ankle a million times. I've turned my ankles a million times. That's not like an epidemic on a team. It's not rare. Oblique injuries are rare for basketball players. And now the same team has 2 oblique injuries. And it could be Cole Anthony and Goga. It could be a small and a big. It doesn't really matter. But to me, that's an issue. And so I just wanted to raise that sort of red flag a little bit here. Enough. I mean, solve this problem. You obviously are not training and working these guys out enough in the oblique area because both of them, and Doc, obliques are so hard to recover from too, man.
Yeah, they are. So it's weird, and I'm very sad because I was kind of all in on Franz Wagner. I watched him at the Olympics. I'm like, this dude's better than he was last year. And everybody was so down on him after last season that he seemed like easy money this year to me. But we got a couple more questions. North Beaver Hoops asked a good one. This could take a while. Would you trade away Paul George to get Isaiah Hartenstein? I think Rick would do that, and I feel like I would probably do it as well.
Yes. Doc, that's a big name. That's a big name to be given up for Isaiah Hartenstein, man. You know I'm not a Paul George guy, but he's still Paul George, dude. Paul George could give you like 15 value on Basketball Monster, right? Like just a fat stat line. But I'm going to stay consistent, Doc. Like I'm just fading the injury guys, like a Brandon Ingram. Eye roll. He's out indefinitely again. Can you believe this freaking guy? Can you seriously believe Brandon Ingram?
No.
Like, go sell insurance or something. Like, this game ain't for you, bro. It's not. Like, this game isn't for you. You can never, ever play. Like, go find something else to do. Become a broadcaster or something. Give somebody else your roster spot. This is ridiculous.
Wow. I feel like because I have Paul George on one of my main teams, and if somebody sent me Isaiah Hartenstein for my Paul George, I think I would look at it and be like, I should probably do that, but I can't. You know, it would be one of those deals where like they'll be like, why didn't you take my trade offer? I'd be like, dude, it was a really good offer. I wanted to do it. I just couldn't. I just couldn't make myself do it. But
so you're holding George.
In reality, I think my answer is yes. I would trade Paul George to get Hartenstein. I think if it reality came down to pulling the trigger to make that happen, I would have trouble doing that. Is what I'm saying.
I agree with that sense.
But mentally, I feel like I should. Dan Risby, the last one. LaMelo versus Steph, 9-cat head-to-head, rest of season.
That's easy. That's
the new Doritos ankles versus old Doritos ankles.
Yeah. That's Steph all day. I don't even, you want to, there's my rapid fire, and I'm going to stop talking.
Okay. Steph. I'm going to go with Steph as well, just because we don't trust LaMelo to stay healthy. It's simple. And you guys know that. All right.
Those are his ankles.
It's game recap time. Rick, have you been able to look around and figure out who your magic man is?
Yeah. I'm going with Cap. And Doc, it's just, there's not really a fantasy takeaway here other than another pat on the back for all of you that took Cap. Late first round, second round, maybe slipped to the third round in your league. Another incredible game. 24, 15, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 threes. Really efficient. He's just been unbelievable this year, guys. And Gobert obviously playing next to him was a value sapper from him in a huge way. He's 5th on Basketball Monster right now, going 25 and 13. Guys, I am floored that Cat is at 25 points per game. Floored. I would have said coming into the year, 22 a game is his max, with Brunson living at like 27, right? Has not worked out that way. Cat is the better MVP candidate on this team, which again is crazy. But 25 and 13, whoa, 3 assists a game, 1 block, 0.8 steals, and 2.3 threes, 53 field, 85 line. Give me a break, dude. And he's playing with Doc. He, knock on wood, has been very healthy so far. He's an MVP candidate, like in reality. So I just want to honor Cat again, man. He keeps putting up games like this. I'm going to keep talking about him. That's Magic Man duty right there. And they went to Toronto and won 113-108. Cat's my guy.
I want to give a special shout out to Mikal Bridges, who was 9 of 14 shooting and hit 5 of 8 3-pointers for 23 points. Been a lot of talk about his shot being broken, but he's hanging in there with it, man. It may look a little funky, but it's working right now. He was all fired up, talking trash to the Raptors bench. He was feeling it in this game. My Magic Man, I'm going to go with RJ Barrett. His revenge game against the Knicks: 30 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, a steal, 3 3-pointers. Raptors lose, Knicks win, but RJ Barrett, he gets a bad rap in fantasy, but I like him. I'm an RJ Barrett fan.
Doc, he's the no defense guy. He literally, if there was a D in his name, we would not be able to pronounce the D in his name. Literally. And like, does he play a little bit of defense in reality? He tries. But Doc, like, the defensive statistics are awful. Like, he probably has one of the because he's a 30 plus. I'll say it like this. Because I don't know exactly what it is, but we know that he plays 30 plus minutes a night, right? So let's take every single player in the NBA that averages 30 minutes or more. I bet he has the lowest stocks of any of those players.
Wow. And that's my Magic Man. Some of the guys who did well in this game, Karl-Anthony Towns got run over by Scotty Barnes on that play when Scotty Barnes hurt his foot. And Cat was down on the court for a little bit too. Like Cat was kind of shaken up by it. He stayed in the game, hit his free throws. I think he was kind of talking about his ankles throughout the game, but he played through it. And I mean, if there was ever a time that these guys are going to try to run through a wall for their coach, I think it's the Knicks and Thibodeau in New York, because he's playing 5 guys basically 40 minutes a night. And they all know if any of them goes down, the party is probably over. So, especially Cat. So Cat's out there every night, whether he feels good, bad, or indifferent. So props to Cat on that. Bridges, like I said, looked good. I feel like his value's kind of stabilized at this point. OG Anunoby, 14 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 threes, 2 steals, 3 blocks, more goodness. Jalen Brunson left the game with an ankle injury, came back and finished 20 points, 4 boards, 11 dimes, 4 triples. Josh Hart got ejected. I wondered why he sat at 10 points forever while we were doing the show. He got tossed and played probably a season low, like 31 minutes or something. How many minutes did he play? He played 32. Let's talk about Scotty Barnes. I said it at the top of the show. I didn't like the way he went down. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way he reacted to it. Who do you think is stepping up if Scotty Barnes is going to miss a bunch of time?
I mean, I kind of like Kelly Olynyk right now, Doc. Grady Dick comes to mind because RJ Barrett's already sizzling, and so nothing's going to change with that. RJ Barrett is going to continue to be their leading scorer, their money man. And Quickly is still out. My God, Emmanuel Quickly this year. Holy cow. But Kelly Olynyk stands out as a guy you need to get off the waiver wire, okay? And he played 15 minutes tonight, had a low-dose stat line, 6 points, 4 rebounds, a block, and a steal, no threes. But that's going to change. It's his first game back, might have even been on a minutes restriction. But you know, Doc knows, we all know that Kelly Olynyk's a goody guy when he gets the appropriate minutes, and he's probably going to get the appropriate minutes here. Jacoby Walter, Doc, who had 19 points tonight, he is a candidate to get more boost. And we got to mention our guy, Ochai Agbaji, because when the scores are out there, Ochai's shots and usage rate dries up. If Scotty Barnes is out, Ochai Agbaji is going to expand like an accordion at a carnival, okay? So I would put Ochai 1, I would put Jacoby Walter 2, and then I would put no, I'm going to change that up. I'm going Ochai in terms of like me reacting to this move. Ochai's number 1. Okay, if he's on waivers, go back and get him and keep him. Number 2 is Kelly Olynyk, and number 3 is Jacoby Walter.
As Andre said before we got on the air tonight, he said Jacoby Walter looks like a basketball player, and he had 19 points tonight, 3 threes, 0 steals, 0 blocks. Do you think Jacoby Walter, when this team decides to shut it all down and give up on the season, they're 7-17, do you think Jacoby Walter could be a silly season darling this year?
I do, Doc, but I think Ochai Agbaji's got a better chance of that because he's been a starter and Walter's off the bench, and they're not going to shut down Agbaji. They might shut down RJ Barrett. They're probably going to shut down Jakob Poeltl. I don't think they're going to shut down Grady Dick, and so I think Grady Dick in that last 2 to 3 weeks of the season is going to be having a bunch of 30-point games. But the thing with Walter, Doc, is I think he's going to be inconsistent. Right. I think like tonight, he'll have these nights where he kills it. And then he's going to have nights maybe on the road, like at a tough opponent, where he gives you 7 points and shoots 3 of 10. He's a rookie. It's okay. But that's the point where we're trying to win. So and again, we're projecting out. He may go on a run of 20-point games in February that has us going, damn, league winner. I'm just not there yet. I think he's going to have some streamer games. Like if you hit it just right, he's really going to help you and help you advance in the playoffs. But will he be living between 15 and 20 every night, even if he's getting the minutes that are required to do so, I still don't know that he can connect the dots to that. I just haven't seen enough.
X-rays came back negative on Scotty Barnes' ankle. I guess he was holding his foot. I didn't like the way he was holding his foot. Raptors head coach Darko Rajakovic, I don't know, says Scotty Barnes tweaked his ankle. It seems like he did more than tweak his ankle to me, but what do I know? We're going to see how Scotty Barnes feels tomorrow. Again, maybe this is much ado about nothing. That would be awesome. My hope, I think one of the most reliable bets you can make in fantasy in basketball this year, prop bets, is for your guy Jakob Poeltl to double. Like, I feel like he doubles every night. He never scores more than 15 points. He never gets more than 12 boards, but he does that every single night. And I hope that Kelly Olynyk doesn't swoop in and start stealing his boards and messing up those free doubles for Poeltl.
Hey, can I interject here and take you back to that RJ Barrett stat? Remember, I said 30 plus minutes. He's probably the worst in the league at the block steal combination. I was wrong, but I was close. And I think the spirit of what I said was a bullseye. Okay. But I was wrong by one guy, Doc. As we look at, let me go to this guy, Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, Doc, is at an abysmal 0.8 steals, 0.1 blocks. Bro, he's playing 35 minutes a game, and he averages 0.9 stocks per game. That's grotesque, folks. RJ Barrett is, you slide just a little bit down the list here, 34 minutes per game. He is at, as I said, 0.8 steals and 0.3 blocks, 1.1 stocks per game. So Tyler Hero is the worst culprit for being horrible at blocks and steals in the entire league. RJ Barrett might be second, but then we scroll down here a little bit, Doc, and I got a couple of other guys that we got to throw under the bus here. Matter of fact, 3 of them. And they're guys that I like. And they're guys that I know a lot of you like as well. And as I scroll down further here, I'm seeing some other guys, but Cam Thomas, 0.7 steals, 0.1 blocks. He's at 0.8 stocks. That's even lower than Barrett, and gosh dang it, it's even lower than Tyler Hero. Cam plays some D. Zach LaVine, Doc, is the exact same as RJ Barrett, 0.8 steals, 0.3 blocks. Brandon Ingram, who Julius Randle. We've talked about it endlessly, okay? He's a PRA guy. He is not a block steal guy. He's at a grotesque 0.9 stocks per game, 0.8 steals, 0.1 blocks. We go down a little farther, Doc, as we continue to throw cats under the bus. Lauri Markkanen, your boy, unbelievably god-awful, 0.8 stocks. He's at 0.7 steals and 0.1 blocks. So, again, Doc knows anytime there's a Lauri Markkanen question, he already knows the answer. For me, it's a no. Keontae George, your boy, is at 0.1 blocks, 0.8 steals, 0.9 stocks. Horrible. And I'll stop there. I think I've made the point here. But to me, when you look back on this, Doc, Cam Thomas is probably the worst. Did I have a guy that was 0.7? 0.8 stocks is the worst, Doc. And that's Lauri Markkanen, and that's Cam Thomas, and those 2 guys. So, well, way to go. Lauri Markkanen, Cam Thomas, the worst block steal guys in fantasy basketball.
Do you have any other things you want to talk about from the Knicks Raptors?
Let me take one more look at the box score here, Doc, and see if we missed anybody. We did not. Just a shout out to Mikal Bridges, Doc. I wrote about him some weeks ago here, and he was kind of like he was at like 17 a game. The percentages were really awful, and OG Anunoby was clearly playing him underneath Madison Square Garden. And I wrote that I believe that's about to flip, and I think Mikal from this point on is going to outplay OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby has since had many massive games. Okay, so maybe I got the comparison wrong, but I got the Mikal Bridges uptick right. And he had a really nice game tonight, as you said. So just a shout out to Mikal Bridges, man.
All right. If you're enjoying the show, once your questions answered, I think we're going to answer them at 11:45 tomorrow night. Jump on Discord and leave some questions, and we'll answer them tomorrow night. Let's look ahead to tomorrow night. Speaking of that, Orlando Magic at the Milwaukee Bucks. No Franz Wagner. Chris Middleton is back in action. Giannis is kind of balling out. We got a bunch of streamers, potential streamers in this game. Goga, KCP, Wendell Carter, Mo Wagner, John Isaac, Anthony Black, Tristan Da Silva, Taurean Prince, Gary Trent, Bobby Portis. If he's been dropped, he's not playing all that great. Rick, is there any, I mean, I know you're kind of into Goga right now. Is there anybody else on this list that you're feeling?
So you want to talk streamers? All right, let's go to streamers. I think Goga's a really good streamer. Okay. He's 31% rostered in Yahoo leagues, coming off of 21-16. He missed a couple of games with an injury, and they kind of like held his minutes down, and they've kind of been upping. And so he popped in the last game. He's not going to have 21-16 against Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he stands out to me as a pretty good streamer. Cole Anthony, especially now that Franz Wagner is out, stands out as a good streamer. Here's another streamer, Doc, that I don't trust. Okay, I don't, but I want to point him out. It's Gary Trent Jr. He's been double figures now in 4 straight games. And Gary Trent Jr. is a ball player roller coaster ride. So maybe you're striking while the iron is hot here and you're riding the hot hand, and maybe the run ended. And now he's going to start another string of like 3, 5, 7, 9, right? Because he can do that too. So I'm sheepish about it, but I was looking at this today and I'm like, Gary Trent Jr. has been streamer good for 4 consecutive games now, okay? But Chris Middleton is also coming off the bench. So, but Trent has been killing it, right? Middleton's been off the bench the last 2 games. So he's done well and streamed well the last 2 games with Chris Middleton, but that's the bubble pop with that. You know, does Chris Middleton suddenly spike up in minutes a little bit? Let's take some of the kid gloves off of him, and boom, now, you know, he's playing more, usage rate more, now Trent shrinks. So it's a bit dicey. I think the ice is kind of thin, but I think Gary Trent Jr. might be a guy you need to look at, especially if Goga's already picked up and if Cole Anthony's already picked up. They go ahead and roll Trent out there.
So what about Tristan Da Silva? I mean, it looks to me like he's next up on the depth chart behind Franz Wagner. Is Cole Anthony a lock over Tristan Da Silva, or is it up in the air?
I'm feeling like Cole's a lock. Let me look at Tristan Da Silva, and not like the last few games. Let me look at his. Let me do a little line to minutes with an uptick. I just don't see it, Doc. He's at 23 minutes a game, okay, for the season, and so let's say he gets up to 28 minutes a game, right? That'd be a nice healthy spike. You're playing starters minutes, but guess what? In 23 minutes a game, he's at 7-4-1. His PRA is 7-4-1. Oh, his stocks are awful. He's at 0.6 stocks in 23 minutes a game. Why do these guys think they can come to the L and stop playing defense? Doesn't make any sense. He's at 0.4 steals and 0.2 blocks. And I know ball players tell me all the time, Doc, and they always light me up on this. You know, those numbers aren't indicative of how good of a defensive player you are. Are you a good team defender? All this kind of stuff. I get it. Okay. But when you're at 0.6 stocks per game, there is another level of defense that you can and should get to, in my humble opinion. Okay. He's at 1.13 balls in 23 minutes, Doc. So let's say he goes to 28 minutes a game. We are looking, best case scenario, at 10, 5, and 2 PRA, a .8 stock total, and 1.5 threes. No, I'm not feeling Tristan da Silva. I'd rather have Cole Anthony.
Interesting. Maybe we need to go back and answer that question about Cole Anthony that we got at the beginning of the show again, because I was not really relating his value to the absence of Franz Wagner, but I probably should have been. So that's interesting to think about. I'm very into seeing what Tristan da Silva is going to do here. I think he could be kind of nice. So I guess we'll find out on Tuesday night when the Bucks play the Magic. What else? Do you trust Chris Middleton at all? Would Chris Middleton be on any of your fantasy teams?
Well, he's on my team in the Cam Dynasty. I think I traded Doc a 3rd-round pick for him or a 2nd-round pick for him. It was last year, and Middleton was on the cusp of coming back. I've always been a Chris Middleton guy. I love his stat line, 25 and 5, 2 to 3 threes and 1 steal per game. It's just a really, really efficient. He's a really good fantasy player. Not a huge block steal guy, but he does a lot of other really good stuff. And so I'm a Middleton guy. So it was a no-brainer, taking the trash out to the curb giveaway to get Chris Middleton, knowing that he was going to miss a million games, and you just toggle him between your lineup and the injured spot, right? So I have him in Cam Dynasty. It's the only league that I have Chris Middleton in. And no, I do not trust him, Doc. Chris Middleton's played two games off the bench so far. He's played 43 minutes, 20 in one, 23 in the other. He is shooting 5 of 18 from the field in these 2 games. He's missed a ton of time. He's rusty as heck. He's not in great shape yet. He's healthy, but he's not balling. He's playing, okay? So, and he's going against Orlando here. Orlando is 3rd in defensive rating. They're a great defensive team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would be sniffing him a little bit. Cole Anthony's a good defensive player. Jalen Suggs in a switch. We'll put a blanket on Chris Middleton. They have other good defenders. Anthony Black is a hell of a defender. So, no, I don't trust him, and I don't see a breakout game.
Let's talk Giannis real quick, just for fun, and then we'll move on to the next game. Giannis is ranked like top 40 in fantasy. He can't hit a free throw to save his life. I don't trust his knees. Are you a Giannis guy at all?
Doc, okay, let me answer your question by asking you a question and getting your answer. Do I give a single SHIT about percentages?
You do not.
So then what's the answer?
You're a Giannis guy.
I'm a big Giannis guy.
Are you buying low on? Are you a buying low on Giannis guy?
Let's
look at this.
I don't think you can buy low on Giannis. How are we buying low on Giannis? Like
he's ranked at like 37-ish in ACAT, and Andre's put together some trade scenarios that I think might be fun to ask you about. Let's do it quickly because we're getting towards the end of the show. Triple J, Jaren Jackson. Are you trading him for Giannis?
Give me Giannis.
Jalen Johnson of the Hawks. Are you trading him for Giannis?
No, give me Giannis.
Yeah, so yes, you want Giannis.
Yes, Giannis.
And Evan Mobley, number 28 per game.
Yeah, again, give me Giannis.
Okay, all right.
So Doc, here's why. 32, 11, and 6 is stupid. That's Will Chamberlain. He's at 1.3 blocks. He's at 0.5 steals. That number's going to go up. He's not a 0.5 steal guy. He's a 1 steal guy. So that's not a real number right there. 61% from the field, which to me kind of augments and mitigates 61% from the free throw line, which is unbelievably terrible. But he's 61% from the field, taking a million shots. And he doesn't hit 3 balls. But, and again, Doc, there's a little bit of, it's not a favorite player thing. Like, I don't have a Giannis Antetokounmpo jersey, but I don't know, Doc. There is some reputation built into this tape by me right here. Also, I trust Giannis to stay healthy more than I do Jalen Johnson or Evan Mobley.
Oh, interesting. All right, who's going to win?
Can I give you I've got ATS. I got an ATS pick for you. I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Let me see if you're on this one with me. So I'm 7-3 ATS this year. We've been very, very choosy. I like Milwaukee, Doc. They're laying 7.5 points. They're at home. They care about the cup. Okay, last year they showed us they care about the cup. They went to the Final Four. They went to Vegas. Remember, then they got beat by Indiana, who then lost to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Bucks are 8-2 in their last 10 games. Giannis and Dame are both cooking. Middleton is at least back to give you maybe 10 to 15 points. It makes them a better team, okay? I think Brolo's going to have a breakout game after 4 straight disasters. And, Doc, Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner are both out. How can Orlando go to Milwaukee and stay within 7.5? I don't see how the math works with that. Like, dude, who else? Okay, Jalen Suggs is going to score 20 points. Who else?
Nobody. I mean, this should be a blowout.
Just saying. Like,
I love that.
I love the Bucks minus 7.5 tomorrow night.
I do too. I may join you on that one. The other game tomorrow night is Dallas at Oklahoma City. PJ Washington's having a really good season. Alex Caruso, I guess he's been playing better over the last 2 weeks, but I'm just not really feeling it. Najee Marshall has been fun at times. Klay Thompson, sadly, looks completely washed to me. Taysom Wallace, Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, all those guys are potential streamers, I think. What do you think? Any
Doc,
big takes on this matchup?
Oh, pardon me. You kind of either I cut out or you cut out. I didn't mean to step on you right there. First of all, Doc, you mentioned PJ Washington. He was the story of the first meeting, which was a 121-119 Dallas win in Oklahoma City. No Luka in that game. And PJ Washington had the 27-point, 17 rebound game that a lot of you probably saw, maybe either watched live or you saw it on the bottom line on ESPN. Like, PJ Washington does usually make the bottom line on ESPN. It's usually Luka and Kyrie. But that night, PJ Washington was the hero. Kyrie had 23. The Dallas bench had 4 players in double figures. And for OKC, it was the usual suspects. But so SGA had 36 with 8 assists. J-Dub had 27, 5 and 5 with 3 threes. Goodies galore, okay? They didn't get enough from the other guys. So to me, that's going to be the key tonight. Like, get 15 from Dort. Get a double-double from Hartenstein, like where he actually puts the ball in the hole a little bit to go with the rebounds. And then, they'll need like a 10 spot from a Case and Wallace. They'll need a 10 spot from a Caruso, a 10 spot from an Isaiah Joe. But they got to get more because Dallas has, I think, deeper firepower than Oklahoma City, not defensively, but offensively. So OKC to win this one is going to have to get more contributions from dudes not named SGA and J-Dub. And we see this a lot, Doc. You watch the games, you look at the box scores, and both of them have massive lines. And then you struggle to find any other guy that popped in that game. That can't happen tomorrow if OKC wants to win this game.
Minus 4.5. OKC at home. That's a lot of points for being against an 8-5 Mavericks team on the road. Thunder are good at home though, 9-2. I kind of like the Mavs to hang with them tomorrow night. I don't know though. It's a big game. The Thunder want to prove that they're better than the Mavericks and vice versa. So that's a tough one. 4.5. Maybe I'll just bet the money line or something. I don't think there's any big news coming out of this game. Alex Caruso, I guess I need to start paying attention to him if he's going to play better. But let's see. Regardless of the platform you are watching us on right now, look up Fantasy NBA Today podcast. Make sure to subscribe for episodes like this one and exclusive content with us and our guy, Aaron Brewski. Rick, do you have anything you want to say before we're out of here?
Just on OKC minus 4.5. This is a stay away for me, but I do have an opinion on it. Okay, like I told you, an official release for me is Milwaukee minus 7.5 tomorrow. This is just an ATS take on this game. I don't like OKC minus 4.5, Doc, and here's why. It's too easy. Of course they're going to win. They're at home. They just lost a home game to Dallas. Of course they're going to win, right? It's not that easy. Like, and would it surprise anybody if Dallas went into OKC and won that basketball game? If it surprises you, you haven't been paying attention. Okay, like surprise? No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It's one of 82. And Dallas was in the NBA Finals last year. You know what I'm saying? It's just too easy to go with Oklahoma City. Oh yeah, they're gonna get even with them. They're at home. So maybe I overcomplicate things. Maybe it is that easy, but that's just my vibe on it. To me, that feels trappy. It does. And look, to your point, the money line may be the play here because OKC may win by 1 or 2. All right, and then the Dallas side wins the bet. OKC wins the game. But Doc, I just think it's too easy to say, oh, for sure, OKC is going to cover this spread. And I'm not accusing you. I'm not accusing Andre or any of our audience members of doing that. I just want to, but just in case anybody is, I want to give them this little warning right here. Be careful. Go ahead and play OKC. You do what you got to do. But I'm feeling trap vibes on this one. I really am. Luke is coming back. That's another thing, Doc. Like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to win right now. Luka missed the first game and now he's back. So that changes the dynamic on it. I don't think you can just assume that Oklahoma City is going to win or cover this basketball game because Dallas beat them in the playoffs last year. They're clearly not afraid of this team. They're clearly not afraid to go into OKC and win. So it's just a stay away from me.
I got you. All right, we are officially out of time. I was shooting for 59 minutes. I got 101. It's fine. This presentation of Fantasy NBA Today with Dr. A and Rick Kamla, Ethos After Dark, was brought to you by Bet Online. See you tomorrow night, 11:45.